Today we'll be getting into some of Walt Disney World's most recent offerings and things to come soon if you have a trip planned in the near future. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to Disney podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, June 22nd, and you're listening to episode 93, Newest Park Offerings and What's Coming Soon. Before we get into today's main topic, here's what's going on in the parks right now. So a lot of the news that we normally cover here we'll be getting into in today's episode, so it'll just be a little light on news. July 4th is just around the corner, which means a special fireworks show is coming to Magic Kingdom. So on July 3rd and 4th at 9:20 p.m., Magic Kingdom is going to host Disney's Celebrate America 4th of July Concert in the Sky. Note that this does replace Happily Ever After on those evenings, so just something to be aware of if this coincides with your trip. Stormalong Bay at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club is finally open after an extended refurbishment. So it closed way back in January and it was always set to reopen in June, and now it has. This is the best pool area like on all of Walt Disney World property in our and many other guests' opinion, right? But do note that the slide inside the massive shipwreck is still closed as of this recording, but it should open really, really soon. So this is a big driving factor for many people choosing Yacht and Beach Club over, other deluxe resorts. So it's nice to have it open again for those of you who may have a stay booked here, in the near future.
Absolutely. There's a new pass holder exclusive meet and greet over in EPCOT for VI pass holder days. At Der Teddy Bar, which is tucked away inside the Germany Pavilion near Summerfest, you can meet and greet with Dopey. At the entrance, you'll check in with cast members who are going to verify your pass holder status. Then you'll be able to queue inside the cute little shop where a PhotoPass cast member will take your photo with Dopey. Disney Cruise Line made a significant change to their booking policy. So up until recently, when booking a cruise, you needed to pay a 20% deposit at the time of your booking, which can actually be quite a significant amount upfront depending on the length of your cruise and the time of year. Now, that deposit has been reduced to 10% at all times. Historically, they've done this as a promotion, which didn't actually save you any money at all. It just meant that you could spread out your payments more evenly over time leading up to your cruise, which can definitely be a nice thing, especially because guests typically book cruises really far out because you kind of have to.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we did that. We did take advantage of one of these promotions when we booked our Wish cruise like way back when.
Yes.
So we put a 10% deposit down, and that was because of the promotion. But now that applies to all bookings.
Which
so
is awesome, I think.
Yeah, 10% is a lot less than 20%, like Lucy was saying. Like if you're, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 or more, right? Like that 20% initially can be a lot.
Yep.
But again, if you're booking your cruise like a year out or more, you can spread that out. Basically over 12 months or however long you have. And then it's just a little bit more palatable for a lot of folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for us, summer vacation is about to kick off. The kids' last day of school is coming up this Thursday on June 26th. Baseball season is just wrapping up soon as well. Next weekend, we have a tournament, and then that's it after that. So one more week to go here, one last push, and we'll get a lot of time back during the week as a family. We've honestly been so rushed all the time, pretty much every evening after work and school, and even trickling into the weekend, hey? So just trying to keep on top of everything. So we're definitely looking forward to just having some downtime this summer for sure. I was just saying to Oliver, I feel like we don't get out for walks in the evenings. He's like, well, our evenings are about to free up. We'll go for a walk every evening after supper.
We're about to get a ton of time back.
Yes.
So, and my sister and brother-in-law are actually getting in on Thursday as well. So I'll scoop them up at the airport when they land, and then they're going to be here when the kids get off school on their last day. And they're super excited for the visit, and we are as well.
Yeah.
It'll be a nice visit for sure. They're actually heading to Orlando in September to do Universal and Disney, and they're going to be at Halloween Horror Nights this year. So they're really looking forward to that, and we're excited for them.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about in the evenings here. Sure. Just our experience from it last year, giving them kind of things that they can do and look out for. So it's going to be a nice visit overall, and they're keeping our kids with them during the daytime while we're at work. So our kids didn't have to go into any camps or anything. They just get to hang out with Auntie and Uncle. So it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So with that said, let's get into today's main topic, which is some of the newest park offerings that have opened recently and still things to come in their near-ish future. We're going to say, because some of these things are a little bit further out, but some of them are coming up right away. So the parks are in a state of constant flux, right? There's always something reopening or closing for a refurb. New restaurants opening, new merchandise stores, lounges. It's literally it's nonstop. Okay. So if you go several months, a year, or even longer in between visits, you're going to encounter a few to several new things every single trip. We usually go at least a couple times a year. And literally every time we go, there's something new to do and see. And like we've said this before, but this is what keeps us coming back and like again and again, right? Like I've been asked this a lot, especially, you know, from close friends and coworkers. Like,
aren't you fed up of Disney
Yeah,
yet?
exactly. Why do you keep going? I'm like, there's something new every single time and we have a blast. Like, why would we not?
Blast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, 2025 has been no different. There have been several new things that have opened and closed recently. And that's all that we're going to get into today. So just a little while ago, 2 brand new shows opened on the exact same day over in Hollywood Studios. So on May 27th, The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, and Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After opened to all guests. The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, replaced the old Voyage of the Little Mermaid that had closed during the pandemic closures. It sat idle there for quite some time.
Literally, yeah.
But then in 2023, the new show was announced, and now it is finally open in Animation Courtyard. The new show features an updated story, new puppetry and effects, plus 2 new to this theater songs, Daughters of Triton and Kiss the Girl.
Which is songs you know, right? But they weren't in the previous show,
right.
But they're in this show,
yes,
right?
Yes, very exciting.
Yeah, and that new show, it's about 20 minutes long. So as of right now, it has several show times throughout the day, and we don't see that stopping because it's going to be popular for the foreseeable future.
Absolutely.
And that basically spans from opening time to late evening. So there's no shortage of opportunities to catch the new show. So it's received great reviews so far. Guests are really loving it. It's really nice to see life in that area of the park again, and especially in that theater. Like Lucy was saying, there was just nothing going on there for the longest time. So it's nice that, you know, there is something going on there again. And down on Sunset Boulevard, where Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy used to be right next to Rock and Roller Coaster, is Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After. So in this show, you enter the realm of the magic mirror, right? And Cruella de Vil, Captain Hook, and Maleficent plead their case as to which one of them has been treated like the most unfairly, right? So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. The audience decides who they feel has the best plight, and then there's alternate endings depending on who wins, which I think is a really fun twist.
Yeah, totally.
It features other Disney villains as well, and the music you know and love from the Disney classics. It is so nice to see something fresh in that area of the park, and the fact that it's Disney villains, which has never been represented in the parks in a significant way, is great to see, and a really good indicator for things to come in the next few years.
Yeah, and you know, it's not that everything that Disney does is in direct response to what Universal does and vice versa. But with the new Dark Universe over at Epic Universe, right, it incorporates villains, right, in like a really significant way. And then with the Villains line coming to Magic Kingdom, the Villain Show at Hollywood Studios, it's just nice to see that in a significant, you know, this is something that happens all the time. Come see it kind of thing. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's really nice to see.
Hollywood Studios is definitely winning in the shows category. That's for sure.
It's adding two solid shows to an
already stellar lineup. I know, it's crazy.
Totally. And, you know, so for us, we haven't seen either of these shows yet, but we're really looking forward to both of them for sure. And then over in Muppets Courtyard, Muppets Vision 3D and Pizza Rizzo closed very recently on June 8th. Mama Melrose's had already closed earlier in May, and that whole area is now completely closed off, meaning there's like walls up and you can't go back there. So all of this is going to be reimagined into Monsters Inc. Land, which will open a new attraction, dining, and merchandise location. So we know a lot of people really love the Muppets and are mad at this change, but we'll be honest, like we're not at all. Like not
in the slightest. I
not
cannot
even a little
wait.
bit. Yeah. New IP, especially like a beloved franchise like Monsters Inc., right, is going to fit really nicely in Hollywood Studios, in our opinion. And we can't wait to see what Imagineers like do over here. That hanging door attraction. Yeah, this
is the one we've been dreaming about. Yeah. Like ever since I saw the movie, I think everybody has thought that would be a really fun roller coaster. And that is exactly what we are getting. This is definitely a great addition to the park, in our opinion.
Agreed.
Cannot wait for this one. Plus, Pizza Rizzo wasn't really great.
Nope.
Sorry for everybody that loved it. So Disney has a chance to really add another good dining option at Hollywood Studios. Already pretty solid lineup.
Yeah, you know, between ABC Commissary and Backlot Express and the snacks that are available there. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to like about the food at Hollywood Studios. So
that's why it's my favorite park, I tell you.
Yeah, and they have a lot to, you know, they have a lot that they can do with this extra space now that they're getting back. Yeah,
it's very exciting.
Yeah, and you know, we don't have an opening timeline as of right now, but as work begins and time wears on, we're sure to get some more updates right here and there, and then we're always going to talk about that as we learn more. If you're a huge Muppets fan, though, like, have no fear, right? The Muppets are still going to be represented at Hollywood Studios, and they're just moving into Rock and Roller Coaster, and that's going to be in 2026.
Yeah, that's right. Disney said that Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith would close in 2026 and then reopen with a Muppets theme in collaboration with some really big names. We don't know who these artists will be yet, but again, we're not mad about this change. Aerosmith was fine and all, but bringing the Muppets in is going to be a really nice refresh. They also said that it would reopen in 2026, but we can safely assume that this will probably be late in the year and then potentially slip into 2027.
Yep.
You never know.
Agreed.
Disney is going to have a lot on the go in the next few years, so it's going to be interesting to see how this impacts the timelines for these smaller projects like this.
Yeah, agreed 100%. And not to be cynical, right? Just realistic and judging like by the history. It's not uncommon for, projects opening dates, right, that are initially given to slip later as time wears on, right? So
and I think that's fair.
Yeah, exactly. And they have like, think about all the things that are going on like in the next 2 years. Like, yeah, they're going to have their plate full. So I think we can excuse them
now,
if, they're a little late on certain projects.
I'm sure a whole team of Imagineers is headed out to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's lots going on there.
Yeah,
so and they only have so many Imagineers. So it's fair if things kind of slip a little bit
like
date-wise.
If you've ever watched the Imagineering story, either read the book or the Disney Plus series, they always assign like a contingent of Imagineers to whatever park, right? So Tokyo, Shanghai, whatever the international destination has been historically, they'll send Imagineers that are assigned and that are actually going to live there for the length of the project kind of thing. So some Imagineers we can only assume are going to be assigned to that project, and they're going to be working overseas for however
hang out
long
there
it takes.
For a while. Yep,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then over in EPCOT, the park has had some pretty big changes in recent years with the opening of, Communicore Hall and Plaza, World Celebration Gardens, and the Walt the Dreamer statue, Moana Journey of Water, Space 220. It just feels completely different at this park now. There were walls up for literally so long. I can barely remember what it looked like before the transformation. The vast majority of the projects that were underway have now been wrapped up. But even with that, there's still like some action happening over at EPCOT.
So most notably, Test Track has been closed since June of last year for a reimagining. We recently found out that it's going to officially reopen to the public soon on July 22nd. It'll be nice to have this attraction back in the lineup for EPCOT. We've definitely missed it the last few times that we were there.
Yep.
So a lot of people love EPCOT for the World Showcase and then by extension the festival throughout the year and the food booths and the other different offerings. But we often hear people say that this is probably their least favorite park because there's not as much to do.
Yeah, and we hear that all the time, but obviously we disagree with that.
Very
it's
much.
not it's my favorite park at Walt Disney World, but I do understand the sentiment like Lucy said. So having that attraction back is going to add more to the day's lineup in terms of attractions for sure. But specifically for Test Track, what changed? Well, the attraction is getting a new ride vehicle and a refresh score and then new scenes as well. So one of them is going to be highlighting nature with actual greenery, and then another is going to be an interior scene with 29,000 light nodes that are going to use different lighting techniques to create like fun effects. We're super excited to see what Imagineers have pulled off with this ride, and this is probably my least favorite of the tier 1 attractions at this park, right? So having something fresh is, we're not mad about that at all. That's going to be, I'm curious to see what they've done.
I agree. Absolutely. This is great for the attraction and just the park as a whole for sure. EPCOT also got a brand new lounge very recently. So Geo 82 opened its doors to guests earlier this month on June 4th. This is an adult-only lounge that features elevated sips and bites, and as of right now, it does require advanced dining reservations. Given the location, there's actually a fireworks experience that's part of the Disney's Enchanting Extras collection, and this gives you views of Luminous from the tables along the lounge's windows. Your admission also includes light bites, desserts, champagne poured tableside, and event-exclusive cocktails. This, as you can imagine, is not cheap. The whole lounge actually is not cheap. The cocktail and the foods are definitely on the expensive side. And then the fireworks experience is no different at a whopping $179 per person, which does not include tax and gratuity.
Yeah, so all in, you're over $200 per person. Yeah, it's going to be an expensive night.
Yeah.
But, lots of folks are raving about this place, and apparently the food and drinks are really, really good. Although the biggest drawback, right, like we're saying, is the price. So there's also a conversation surrounding, having an adult-only space in the park. But really, we're also not mad about that. As, guests who travel with just the two of us, we do like just Lucy and I trips every now and again. And we obviously do trips with the kids and they're school age. There's a ton of restaurants, lounges, and snack locations in the park and around property. So having a space like this is fine, right? It caters to like a different guest experience and a different like demographic, right? And that's okay too. As of this recording, we're not sure when we're going to be back at Walt Disney World, just the two of us, but I'm going to be there solo in January. So I may check this out at that time.
That'd probably be a good time for you to check it out, get the full experience.
Yeah, exactly. Just get, something to eat and maybe a couple of drinks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Animal Kingdom is about to undergo some major changes as well. The whole Dinoland USA part of the park began a phased closure earlier this year with Triceratop Spin, Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures, and Fossil Fun Games. Earlier this week, Disney also announced that the Boneyard, which is that massive play structure in the land, will officially close on September 2nd of this year. This is earlier than we had anticipated since Disney had said that it would remain open throughout the rest of 2025, so that timeline has moved up slightly. As far as we know, the dinosaur attraction and Restaurantosaurus will remain open through the end of the year. I hope it does, because I know a lot of people want to get dinosaur attraction in before it's completely gone.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, this is to make way for the Tropical Americas themed land here. And that's going to see an Encanto attraction featuring the Casita, a carousel attraction like for smaller kids, and then a massive quick service location that's, Disney has said is going to be one of, if not the largest quick service restaurant on property. So that's going to be really interesting. And then they're also going to retheme Dinosaur into an Indiana Jones attraction. So when Disney announced the closure of the Boneyard, they did say that there would be an interactive area for kids to play in when it reopens as Pueblo Esperanza, which is actually really nice to hear, right? It's good for kids to have an area to run around in. So all of this, Dinosaur
Casita,
into Indy, Casita, everything is slated to open sometime in 2027. And work has already begun and been underway for some time since the closures earlier this year. So this is the largest change in this park since the addition of Pandora in 2017. So it's great to see some fresh offerings at Animal Kingdom. Also, the theater in the base of the Tree of Life is also getting some love. So the previous show, It's Tough to Be a Bug, closed back in March, and it's being rethemed to a Zootopia show named Zootopia Better Zoogether, which is set to open in very late 2025.
I have a feeling that show's going to be amazing.
Yeah, 100%. So Disney has teased that it's going to feature Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps, not surprising, right? And other characters from the movie. And it's going to include the biomes that Judy passes by on the train in the movie on the way to Zootopia, but doesn't actually stop in. So this is likely to intersect nicely with the release of Zootopia 2, which is set to hit theaters in November as well, right? So Disney knows what they're doing. And actually, I was wondering this because we're on the Wish from the 17th to the 21st. And I don't know. I know it drops in November, Zootopia 2, but I don't know which day.
I thought it was the 22nd, but I could be wrong.
So
we just saw a commercial for it when we went to see Elio.
Exactly. And for those who don't know, if a Disney or Pixar flick releases while you're on a Disney cruise, they will show that, even if it's a couple days before, right? So
fingers crossed, we get to see it on the cruise ship. We might be able to see
Zootopia 2,
that
which
would be
be
pretty
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
I think the kids would get a real kick out of that one.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so there's obviously lots going on at Animal Kingdom in the upcoming months and years. In a couple of years' time, it's going to feel so different there, that's for sure. But like a really exciting different.
Definitely.
I cannot wait. Animal Kingdom, I don't know why I say Hollywood Studios is my favorite, but they're all just my favorite. I just love them all for their own reasons.
We do. We love all four parks.
Animal Kingdom is just, you walk in there and you're just like, this is going to be a good day.
Yeah. And, we see that often on social media, the four parks, which one do you drop? Well, we don't, right? We always go at least 4 days so that we can always
And
do
I've had
each
a lot
one.
of friends, let's say they're on social media or something, say, yeah, we got to everything but Animal Kingdom. I'm like, no,
you didn't get to everything.
You
missed the whole park.
And honestly, no park is slated to have more changes and updates in the near future than Magic Kingdom. Earlier this year in January, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad closed for a year-long or more refurbishment that has kept it closed so far this year and is extending into the start of 2026. Walt Disney Imagineering recently shared a reel where they showed a quick glimpse of the new track and then some wood samples for some aesthetic updates they're making for the ride. It was a tiny little look at what's happened back there, but it's progress, so we'll take it because we really miss this ride. Our kids love it. We ride it like 2, 3, if not 4 sometimes if we get lucky.
Definitely.
So the last trip, we all were really missing it there when we were there in May.
For sure. Like when you think about our rope drop strategy or our morning strategy, we'll normally rope drop Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, make our way to Peter Pan, and then we'll head into Frontierland to go do Big Thunder, right? So we have not done that.
Well, and our kids have never got to experience either Splash Mountain and Big Thunder together at one time or Tiana's and Big Thunder. So cannot wait for them to get to have both.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
And for Big Thunder, we don't have a reopening timeline aside from what Disney has said when it first closed, which was that it would reopen in 2026 with a little bit of new magic. So we don't know what that means, but we're excited to see it. So is that early 2026, mid, late? We don't know at this point. But if I had to guess, I'd say that Disney is going to aim to have it open before spring break in 2026. So I could see it opening like in the February to March range, but that's based in absolutely nothing. So take it with a grain of salt. And this is pretty much the smallest news coming out of Magic Kingdom. So aside from that, Disney is also closing Tom Sawyer Island, the Liberty Square Riverboat, and the Rivers of America by extension to make way for the Cars-themed land coming to that space. Disney recently made the announcement that July 6th would be the last day of operation for these offerings and that they're officially going to close to the public on July 7th.
Yeah, and then they also finally revealed the name and a few more details about the new land. It's going to be named Piston Peak National Park. Disney said that it's going to have parkitecture, which is a type of architecture that you'll find in national parks in the Northwest. So think exposed wood log buildings and similar structures. They also shared a fresh concept art photo of the land, and it showcases the route of the rally car e-ticket attraction to Piston Peak. Disney shared previous details on this. It'll be a new type of ride vehicle that will simulate riding through rugged terrains and then passing by waterfalls, geysers, and other elements.
Yeah, and this one is actually pretty controversial, not the Cars land itself, but a lot of guests are upset that the Rivers of America are going away. And we don't necessarily disagree with that. One thing that we will note, though, is that looking at the concept art, it looks like there's a river and a lot of water like in that concept art that Disney shared, right? So we think that Imagineers are going to incorporate the existing water here and weave it into the land and into the attraction. So we're hopeful that, Imagineers are going to hit it out of the park here and that it's going to be like a seamless addition to the flagship park. We're really excited for this. This does mean, though, that there's going to be walls around this area of the park for time measured in years, not months. So I don't envision we're going to see that reopen, until 2027, if not later.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. Disney did say, though, that the walls won't go up immediately. So this won't impact the new nighttime parade that is also launching soon in the park. So Disney previously announced and have been dropping little details like a look at the floats that will be a part of Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away, which is the brand new nighttime parade coming to the park beginning on July 20th. The parade will initially have 2 times at 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. It's also going to run opposite of the usual parade route. So all parades as of right now start in Frontierland and then they end at the entrance to the park in the town square. So this new parade is going to start in Town Square and end in Frontierland. Disney said that this allows for a better guest flow at the end of the day. And we have to say we honestly love this because the people closest to the front of the park can leave when the parade ends and then makes its way deeper into the park.
Yeah, exactly. Like when the parade, goes like by the castle and then into Frontierland, all those people that were watching can now just leave, right? Yeah. And then like as it gets deeper into the park, those people leave and it's just much more, flowy.
Yeah, agreed.
And then, so I think it's brilliant and it makes a lot of sense. So like Lucy said, Disney previously shared a look at a lot of floats that are coming and they look amazing. Think like thousands and thousands of little lights. And it's going to be great. We know a lot of people feel the same way. It's going to be popular for sure. And to accommodate for that, Disney made a small change to annual pass holders, requiring them to make park pass reservations if they want to enter Magic Kingdom at any time of day, including after 2 p.m. So recently, and up until July 19th, annual pass holders can enter Magic Kingdom after 2 p.m. without a park pass reservation, except for Saturdays and Sundays. But as of July 20th, when Starlight starts, right, and until further notice, they will require a park pass reservation to enter at any time and on any day. This doesn't include hopping. So if you had a park pass reservation for another park, for example, EPCOT, and you entered the park and then you hop to Magic Kingdom, you are good to go. You don't need a park pass reservation for Magic Kingdom at that point, but you can't, if you're an annual pass holders, you can't pop in on a Wednesday at like 4 p.m. anymore and get in. You would still need a park pass reservation.
Yeah, exactly. So you can hop to Magic Kingdom, but if you want to solely go there, at any point, you do need that reservation beginning July 20th. I'm sure there's going to be some confusion at the beginning, but people will figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So who's going to be in the parade? Well, it'll be led by the Blue Fairy, and you're going to have floats featuring Peter Pan and Wendy, Asha, La Familia Madrigal, so think Mirabelle, Isabella, Bruno, and then you're going to have Elsa, Aurora, and Prince Philip, Tiana and Prince Naveen, Belle and the Beast, Cinderella and Prince Charming, Miguel and Pepita, Moana, Goofy, Pluto, Donald, and Daisy Duck, Snow White and Dopey, Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. There's so many. Aladdin and Jasmine. And then, of course, Mickey and Minnie Mouse, among others, actually. I didn't even list them all.
No, exactly. And, they've released concept art of what the floats are going to look like. And, they look really, really good.
Yeah. And Disney also said, this is good to note, that it won't run on the nights where the park hosts Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And they haven't said specifically, but we're going to assume this is going to extend into Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party as well. That would just make sense.
Yeah,
because those parties have their own specific parades.
Exactly. It's the only thing that makes sense. So that has to be the case too.
Yeah.
And Disney also previously announced that Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin is going to get a refresh very soon. So back in March, they announced that in August, the attraction would be closing for a refurb before reopening sometime in 2026. So it's getting a new show scene featuring a new robot character named Buddy. So he's specific to the attraction, created for the attraction. So that's pretty cool. It's going to get new ride vehicles that are going to have monitors to give you live feedback. The attraction is also going to get handheld blasters, which is awesome, right?
I agree. Yeah.
As of right now, they're mounted to the vehicle, right? Which gives you like limited mobility. So these ones, you're going to be able to, they're like free floating, right? So you can point them in any direction. And they're also going to have always on lasers to help with aiming. And then on top of that, the lasers will be different colors to differentiate between guests, like in the same ride vehicle. So that's also going to be a nice thing. The targets are also getting a refresh, and they're going to light up and react when you hit them, or like when your laser strikes them, right? So this is only going to enhance guest experience overall. It's definitely a modernization that's going to bring the attraction like into the technology of today.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely felt a little dated, especially when you compare it to an attraction like obviously Toy Story Mania over in Hollywood Studios. So it's definitely going to be a nice change. They haven't given a specific closing date or a specific opening date yet, but we should hear when it'll be closing pretty soon, because August will be here before we know it.
Yeah, agreed.
Disney also recently shared a closer look at the Pirates of the Caribbean themed tavern coming to Adventureland near the attraction. We know the name of this tavern is going to be Beak and Barrel, and it's set to open later this year. Again, no specific dates have been given just yet. The tavern will be hosted by Captain Meridian Mary Goldwyn and Rummy the Parrot. The tavern is split into two areas, the mess and then the captain's quarters. The mess has long tables and a large bar. The concept bar also shows smaller tables, so it may be kind of like that Oga's Trader Sam situation where you're going to be sitting next to other parties, but that's not known at this point. And then the captain's quarters appears to be smaller tables and mostly adult guests, although there's clearly children in both photos.
Yeah, and there's a few questions or question marks rather that are still like existing for this tavern, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest one being, are they going to serve alcohol here, right? Because as of this recording, only the table service restaurants serve alcohol in Magic Kingdom. So a lounge serving alcohol would be a first for the park. Is there going to be a distinction between the captain's quarters and the mess? Are dining reservations going to be required? Lots of details are unknown at this point, but either way, we're excited for this one, and we're definitely going to be making our way here when it opens. It's supposed to open this year. So, I'm definitely going to be checking that out in January for sure. Yep.
Absolutely. And as if that wasn't enough, what we've already told you, Magic Kingdom is also getting a brand new Villains Land. It was announced at D23 last year, and it's the project that we know, honestly, the least about. When you think about the Tropical Americas land at Animal Kingdom, Monsters Inc. land at Hollywood Studios, Piston Peak at Magic Kingdom, we have closure dates announced, details to look at, concrete things that we know. But for Villains Land, it's a bit mysterious. We don't have a timeline. It's all going in an area that is currently backstage as far as we know, so it won't trigger any closings that we know of. So we are very curious to hear more about this one.
Agreed 100%. What we do know, though, is that it's going to feature 2 attractions, dining and merchandise locations, so it's going to be a substantial space. We also know that it's going to be the last of these projects to open. That's pretty much a certainty at this point. We're seriously excited about this. It has the potential to be really great and to add to Magic Kingdom's existing offerings like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I feel like they could incorporate something fun there. So there's a lot to look forward to at Magic Kingdom and really like Walt Disney World as a whole. And, like we said earlier, it's not that this Villains Land is in response to Dark Universe, but it kind of is.
It makes sense. Honestly, they got to keep up.
No, 100%. And
they're good competition for each other, Disney and Universal. And honestly, I find that a lot of people love both.
Yep.
And that's okay. Like we love both. We love Universal Studios and we love Walt Disney World. And honestly, I love that they're kind of in this fun competition together because it just makes for more exciting things to come.
100%. If you're a lover of theme parks, this is only good because it's just healthy growth, right? Yeah. Both parks are growing and adding good offerings for their base.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the people that visit Disney visit Universal and vice versa, right? And you have those diehard camps like I'll only go to Disney or I'll only go to Universal, but I think a lot of people visit both, right? And it's like anything else. It's like PlayStation and Xbox. Like you have people that, are diehards on both sides, but then you have people that play both consoles. So
Absolutely.
that's a nerd reference for me for you. But at the end of the day, loving both is totally okay. And both are awesome. And there's a lot to love about both resorts.
And I honestly think the Imagineers for Disney, and I don't know what the Universals are called, but they're Imagineers, they would probably say the same thing. It's okay to love it all. It's just good.
No, 100%. And when you think about the amazing lands that exist at Disney, like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, tell me it's not on par. Like it's
exactly. And
I great talent on both sides.
Guarantee you that Disney Imagineers go to Universal too, and they have just as much fun there. So love it all. I think it's great.
Lots of people love Harry Potter. How can you not?
Yeah. And on that vein of 2027 and beyond, we also know that a new Disney resort is slated to open in 2027. Disney's Lakeshore Lodge has been a long time coming, and it was originally named Reflections, a lakeside lodge, but that was dropped and picked back up with the new name. The resort is also under construction, although pretty under the radar. It's going to be located between the existing Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness Resort on Bay Lake. From what we can tell from the concept art, it'll have similar theming based on nature and woodland creatures with Disney IPs like Bambi. That would probably be a really good one, actually.
Yeah, there is. In the concept art, you can see Bambi and the other characters.
That makes sense. Disney also announced that this is going to be a DVC property. But just like any other existing DVC resort like Riviera, anybody will be able to book a stay here. Aerial shots exist of the progress here, and if you Google search it, you can see some of the work that's already been done at the site.
Yeah, honestly, and it's a little mind-boggling to think of all the changes that are coming to Disney, right, in the months and the years to come, right? There's billions of dollars being invested in the parks, like domestic and international, and then in Disney Cruise Line. So just like overall, it's coming up Disney. It's a really, really good years for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. We know we say this a lot, but honestly, when you think about everything we just talked about, my God, there's a lot coming. Honestly, we were just there in May, and since then, there's already been 2 new shows at Hollywood Studios, a new lounge at EPCOT, a new parade opening up right away at Magic Kingdom, and Oliver isn't even set to go until January. So at that point, Beak and Barrel should be open by then, and the Zootopia Better Zoogether show in Animal Kingdom should be started. So literally, if you're away for a few months, there is so many changes that every single time you're going to experience something new, I promise.
Definitely. And it's actually pretty crazy when you think about it, because Disney always has several projects on the go. So there's always something new to experience and something coming to look forward to. And like you said it perfectly. Like we literally just left last month.
Literally.
And in that month, 3 new things have opened. And before I go in January, which is only 7 months apart, there's going to be like a laundry list of things I'm going to have to experience.
It's crazy.
That is brand new, right?
Yeah.
And that's nonstop. It's always the case. If you,
so exciting.
If you went in like 2023 and you're not have a trip planned for like 2027 or 2028, like my God, it's going to be like so much new stuff.
Exactly.
It's unreal. With that said, thank you for joining us today to talk Disney. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, if you could leave us a rating and review, it would be greatly appreciated. If you choose to do so, you can leave reviews right on Apple Podcasts. And for Spotify, you can leave a rating.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at letsgo.to-disney, as well as on our Facebook page, Let's Go to Disney. We share some helpful reels here as well as some fun ones. The link tree in the show notes will take you to all of our socials.
Have a great day, and we'll see you real soon.